Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, you lovely people, whichever one it is for you. Welcome back to Lilywhite Lane. I hope that you're all having a really good day and week wherever you are in the world and whatever you are planning to get up to. Before we get cracking with today's video, make sure, if you haven't already, to smash that subscribe button, give it a rocky right hook, hit that like button as hard as you possibly can, batter that notification bell like a haddock down your local fish and chip shop, and once you're done abusing all the buttons on the channel, be sure to comment all of your fantastic thoughts and opinions down below. It would be hugely appreciated. Enough faffing about, let's get cracking with this knacking. Alright ramblers, let's get rambling. And look, we are here today to preview and talk about Man City versus Tottenham. The game that is set to take place this Saturday evening at 5:30 UK time at the Etihad Stadium. And it's a big game for both sides. Spurs need to get something after the loss against Ipswich and the recent inconsistent form. And Manchester City need a win if they are to still win this Premier League title. Liverpool cannot go 8 points clear away from Manchester City. They really can't. Man City need 3 points, and anything else in this game for them would be unacceptable. And their recent form has been very poor. 4 losses in a row. I don't believe I've ever said that sentence on this channel whilst talking about Manchester City. They lost to us in the Carabao Cup. We had less possession than usual, but who gives a monkeys? We counter-attacked them well. We looked dangerous. We created the better and more clear-cut chances, and we were the deserved winners in that game, and that started this terrible run of form for them. They then followed that up with a 2-1 loss away against Bournemouth. Semenyo was mustard in that game, then got absolutely annihilated by Ruben Amorim's Sporting Lisbon in the week in the Champions League, 4-1 in his last game in Europe for them. And then against Brighton, first half they looked fairly solid, 1-0 up, and they capitulated. Obviously it wasn't as bad of a capitulation as it was for us. We crumbled like a chocolate digestive in a milky tea at the Amex, but as soon as they conceded that first in the second half, you could see the second coming, and Brighton got it. Matt O'Reilly in his debut game getting his first goal. 4 losses in a row, and they haven't performed well in those games. It's not like we're going, if they took those chances, they had all of the ball, Man City dominating games but just can't get over the line. No, Bournemouth deservedly won, Sporting deservedly won, Brighton were the deserved winners, and we were as well. So they are not on great form whatsoever. And I put that mainly down to how much they are missing Rodri. And people say, Man City don't rely on one player. Horseshit. Yes, they do. And that one player is Rodri, the Ballon d'Or winner. Does he do as many spectacular and incredible things as an Erling Haaland or De Bruyne? No. But does he do the basics better than any player in the world? Yes, he's a phenomenal midfielder. He really makes them tick. And without him, they really struggle. The mentality of the group drops, as I say. They can't hold on to leads. They look a different side without him. They really do. Now, if we were more consistent, I'd be heading into this game with a lot more confidence for the reasons I've just mentioned. Man City's form, Rodri out injured. But we've been such a mixed bag recently, and it's really not been good enough. It really hasn't. The fact that Man City need a win as well, the whole Dr. Tottenham thing, makes me believe even more that they'll probably go on to win this game. We can pull out an incredible performance. We saw it against Aston Villa. That second half, we were brilliant. Liquid football, in the words of Alan Partridge. It really was. We saw it against West Ham. We saw it against Man United. But then we have games like the Brighton one. Then we have games like the Crystal Palace one. And the worst one of the lot, you're heading into the international break, as I say, a chance to go into the top 4. Ipswich at home. It's on a plate for you. It's on a plate, and we completely threw it away. We're now sat mid-table. We've got some very tough games coming up, and I wouldn't be surprised if the manager's gone at the end of the season. It's fine margins in football. That game was massive, and when the pressure was on, as I say, right before the international break to get a result, we couldn't handle it. We are such a mixed bag, so I wouldn't be surprised if we turn up at the Etihad and put in a really good performance. Just as I wouldn't be surprised if the players have completely checked out from Ange Postecoglou's system, and have given in on backing this manager. Obviously, we heard the reports come out yesterday that 4 players, I think it was Udogie, Vicario, Bentancur and Who's the other one? I'm struggling to... Udogie, Vicario, Bentancur and Romero. Yeah, those were the 4 players that were mentioned from Football Insider that had fallen out with Ange Postecoglou. So could we see Spurs really give in and down our tools in this game? Maybe. But we could also see us turn up and put in a great performance. But even if we put in a great performance at the Etihad, it's going to be very, very tough to get anything. But I think we need something, considering how inconsistent we've been. I think the fans need something here to start getting back on board with Ange Postecoglou, because personally, I've lost all faith in this project and I don't see us going forward. I'll tell you some encouragement we can take into this game though. Obviously Man City's recent form, Rodri missing, but our recent results against them over the last 5 to 10 years have really been a mixed bag. And not many teams can say they've had a mixed bag of results against Man City. Most teams can say that they've had a terrible time against Manchester City. We're one of the teams that actually occasionally pulls off a very, very good result and performance against them. As I say, we've got 28 wins against them in the Premier League. They've got 18 against us. Granted, a few of those games in the Premier League were when they were, fighting relegation and stuff, but still, a lot of them have been under the likes of Pep, Looking at our last 5, we beat them in our most recent game in the Carabao Cup, counter-attacking them. Yes, they played some youngsters, but we took advantage of that. We played very well in that game. I think we need to head into this one with similar tactics, but I'll get onto that in a bit. But yeah, got that 2-1 win at the end of last season. We lost 2-0 to them. I mean, what a tragedy that was, eh? What a tragedy that was to lose that game when we weren't going to do anything anyway, and Arsenal didn't go on to win the league. Woolwich failed and bottled it again. Still gutted about that one. Obviously, I'm dicking around. I got over that one pretty quickly. The one before, the 1-0 in the cup, we were all right in that game. It was a pretty boring game if we're being honest about it. But they got the lucky break towards the end. Vicario, was it a foul? Potentially, but if butts and monkey nuts, it's all done and dusted now. So look, we have lost a couple of games to them, but then before that, we got the 3-3 at the Etihad at the beginning of last season. The Dejan Kulusevski header towards the end, or was it a header? It sort of came off his shoulder, but an incredible goal. And in the 1-0 the season before, we beat them 1-0 when they were going for the league title, right? Overtook Arsenal and finished the season on 89 points. We beat them 1-0. At home, when we were sat mid-table, struggling for anything, just sacked our manager, I believe. I mean, honestly, I think we had Stellini at that time. It might have been Conte, but yeah, I remember that Harry Kane breaking records. What a miss he is. But our results against them are a real mixed bag. And even at the Etihad, one of my favourite Spurs games I've watched, in my lifetime has been at the Etihad. It was that 3-2 where Harry Kane decided to turn into prime Messi, You talk about star-making performances when you look back at a player's career and go, yeah, that performance. That'll be one of Harry Kane's, because that was outrageous. We beat them, as I say, under Pochettino at the Etihad. We get results against these lot. We do get results. But I just think with the style of play, as I say, with the high line and it being away from home, with our recent form, with the way the players have performed, I think we'll lose this game. I think what we should do, and what we probably will do, is counter-attack them, but I don't think we're going to sit back and counter-attack them like a Conte or Jose team did, which I think is the best way to get a result against Man City. Stay compact, unbelievably narrow defensively, get quick wide players, running forward with wing-backs on the counter-attack. We don't have wing-backs, as I say. We're lacking quality aside from Sonny for our wide players. So, whilst we might counter-attack them, score 1 or 2 goals, I don't think we'll win this game. I think it will be a very, very open game. I think although they're missing Rodri, they will have some top players out there, and I think we'll give them the space to attacking us down the flanks. I think they will. I think there'll be goals in this game. I really, really do. I think we've got to counter-attack them. I think we need something. My score prediction, I am probably going to go... Actually, let's wait for the score prediction. Let's do the predicted lineup, okay? Let's do the predicted lineup. I think the back 4 and the goalkeeper will be, the same as usual. It'll be very interesting if you see Udogie, Vicario, Romero or Bentancur drop, because that have something to do with the news and proving it right. But I think our back 4 is pretty much nailed on. I'd personally like to see Spence, but you don't always get what you want in life. So I think it will be Pedro Porro, Destiny, Udogie, Christian Romero and Mickey Van... Oh no, Mickey's out, isn't he? He might be back. He might be back for the Man City game. We could really do with Van de Ven out. And Romero picked up a little niggle away on at Argentina. So it's quite hard to predict the back four. If Van de Ven and Romero are fit, they will start. The two replacements are Dragusin and Davies. That does not fill me with confidence. But we went there last season with a crap defence as well. An even worse one. And got results. So, yeah, I think... what did we go there with last season? I think Royale and Davies as the centre-backs. But, yeah. I think if Romero and Van de Ven are fit, they'll start. If they're not, Davies and Dragusin. I think if one's missing, Dragusin will be the one to come in. Midfield 3, I don't think he'll start Maddison. He hasn't been recently, and I don't see him doing it in this game. I see the midfield 3 that started the last couple. I think he will start with Pape Matar. I think he'll start with Rodrigo Bentancur, and I think he will start with Kulusevski. Kulu, poor in the last couple of games, one of our best players this season. That's not saying a lot, but he has been really good, to be fair. Pape Matar didn't do a lot wrong last week. And Rodrigo Bentancur obviously scored the unbelievable header. So that's the midfield 3 I think Ange will go with. Personally, I'd like to see Maddison. I called for him, to be dropped a while back. But as I say, I think to bring him on with like 6 minutes to go in the last game and give Werner like 25 minutes is a real piss-taking insult to James Maddison. But yeah, that's the midfield I think he will go with. In the front 3, I expect to see Dominic Solanke, I expect to see Heung-min Son, and I expect to see Brennan Johnson. No surprises there. Score prediction. I don't think we have enough to win this game. I think Man City, although they're missing Rodri, will have a far better team than they did in the Cup against us. I think we will score a couple. I think there'll be goals because Man City haven't looked solid. I'm going to go for a 3-2 win to Man City. I don't think they'll completely thrash us, tear us apart and tear us a new one. But I do think they will go on to pick up all 3 points. I'm going for a 3-2 Manchester City win. It could be 3-1, but I do see us getting a goal or a couple of goals. But I just think they'll have too much for us. In our recent form, as I say, although we've got a decent record against them, they've not been great. Even more the reason for them to step up. They always, have little purple patches throughout a season. And then after those patches, they step up and they start putting a run together. And it's normally around the end of November, beginning of December time, when that run starts really picking up for Man City. So yeah, 3-2 Man City is my scoreline. I'm going to say the scorers for Spurs is Son. He loves a goal against Man City. And I'm going to say that we get a goal from a wing back. They're always getting forward. Porro or Udogie. I'll go with Porro. So 3-2 Man City is my score prediction. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions on this game, your lineup. What do you think about our recent record against City? Do you think it plays a part? All of that good stuff. Comment down below. We need to give it our all. He who dares wins, in the words of Del Boy. Take care of yourselves, guys. All the best. And as always, come on, you Spurs.